What's going on, guys? Chaseontwowheels here at Wow Motorcycles in Marietta, Georgia. In front of us, guys, I have a 2022 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. I know you guys are not used to seeing Kawasaki's on this channel, but Wow let me know they had this on the floor, and you guys know I jumped on this thing. I don't get to ride a ton of Kawasaki, so I was super excited for this one. Now, guys, this is obviously not a brand new model. We've got a couple mods, and it's got about 10,000 miles on it, so this will not be a brand new first ride, but it will be a first ride nonetheless. So I'm going to take it on my first ride loop, let you guys know what my first impressions are, and at the end of the video, I'll let you know if it's a purchase or a pass. So let's start off by seeing what it looks like and seeing what it sounds like. Headphone users, this is your warning. Dead ass. Oh God. Oh. If your bike sounds that loud, for the love of God, wear earplugs. And right after you put the earplugs in, play music on your car. Has 10% off discount in the description down below. Oh my God, I can't hear anything. I can't even hear my dope beats on these streets. Alrighty, guys, that's what it looks like, that's what it sounds like, and thank you, Flying Eyes, for sponsoring this episode. And guys, before we get going on this first ride, we gotta talk about the sponsor of the video making it possible, and that is Flying Eyes, the only sunglasses you should be thinking about if you are a motorcyclist. So the reason these are so good for motorcyclists, guys, is because of how thin this little arm is. It fits into any motorcycle helmet, and it doesn't cause that hot spot on the side of your helmet that'll give you a massive headache if you're using some regular sunglasses. Also, they are indestructible. Look how much you can bend these things. I am not worried about these at all. I treat these things like crap, and they are always okay. You can bend them up. They are fantastic. Trust me, I don't treat my sunglasses well, and neither do I treat these well, and they have held up. If you guys want to get a pair for yourself, I've got a discount code in the link in the description down below to get you guys a discount. These are the only sunglasses you will ever need as a motorcyclist. Flying Eyes, thank you for sponsoring the show, and let's get on this absolute psychopath of a motorcycle. Guys, been a minute since I rode a liter Super Sport from the Japanese fam. This one is going to be interesting. Look at the green shield. How neat. All right, guys, I'm 5'10", got a 32-inch inseam, and surprisingly, I have bent legs on this thing. I'm honestly kind of shocked right now. Let's get it cranked up. So loud, my God. Okay, a couple notes for this bike. We have modes, and we're currently in rain. We can go up to road, and we can go up to sport. Those are the only modes we are going to be dealing with today. And there are also 4 custom rider modes, but obviously, you know, I haven't customized those. We're just going to stick with the regular mode. And with all that being said, I think we should get started, because today is going to be interesting. That M4 exhaust is so loud. Also, guys, if you want to join our newsletter, we send you an email every week letting you know what's going on around the channel. If you want to join us over there, I would love to have you. Link's in the description. Sorry, Coca-Cola truck, I'm going before you. Let's get her going. In rain mode? Jesus Christ. So guys, let's talk about the mods on the ZX-10 real quick. First off, we obviously have this Puge green screen. We have little turn signal deletes, which I don't really understand since the turn signals are integrated into the mirrors, which are still here, so that's interesting. We then have ASV levers, which we do appreciate. We have frame sliders, and we also, as you can hear, have that M4 exhaust. I will also note that before we get into this first ride, this bike is tuned. So I assume that tune is for the M4 exhaust, but I also, if I understand correctly, it unlocks a little power with the ZX-10. So you guys can correct me or not in the comments down below, but those are the aftermarket accessories that this bike has on it. Now, with all that being said, let's get into the actual first ride. So first off, guys, let's talk about body position. We've got a pretty solid seat, honestly. It's really wide, and I can even sit back, and it's super wide. So really happy with the seat. I will say, on this ZX-10, you are crunched up. The lower half, at least. My lower half is like, it's almost hard to get into this position. So for city riding, it is not ideal at all. The upper half is a pretty normal super sport position. Obviously, I'm leaned over quite a bit, and my arms are kind of down. But the lower half is where I think if you're a taller rider, definitely want to go sit on a ZX-10 before you purchase one. Like, I would say maybe 6 foot, 6'2", something like that. Go sit on one of these and see if you fit on it before you purchase it, because I'm already crunched up, and like I told you guys, I'm 5'10", so yeah, just things to look out for. Hey, since we got this red light, we are going to hold the mode button up, and it should change to road. Maybe I have to off throttle. There we go. All right, we're now in road mode. Goodbye, rain mode. Alrighty, guys, let's talk about the power plant powering this thing. We've got a 998cc inline-four cylinder, very typical inline-four for a liter bike in the Japanese class. Power, we're looking at 206 stock, and we're looking at about 86 torque stock. So yes, I said 206, which surprisingly is in line with all of the other big liter bike super sports. So very quick motorcycle, to say the absolute least. This is where it sucks. Unperching my leg to get it off of the bike. There's no getting around it. These are not bikes that are good in the city, so today is not going to be a fun day for Chase. I will also note that the bike comes in at a weight of 450, 460 pounds, something like that. If I understand correctly, this is one of the heavier liter bikes. I think it's the only one heavier than this one is the CBR. So we are on the slight chunkier side for the liter bike. But let's talk about city performance, guys. And it's not going to surprise anybody. This thing is just, it's so pointless. It's so pointless in the city. Not only is your leg so perched up and you're just like cramped up on this motorcycle, it makes it hard to maneuver easily at lower speeds. You know, you're going to get the benefit of this body position when you're on a track, which that is not part of the first ride route. We will get to the highway eventually. So for the city, we're basically going to throw low speed maneuvering out the window. It's trash. The body position mixed with the clip-ons, mixed with everything, is not going to be ideal. And I don't think anybody's going to be surprised with that. But one of the things I am not a big fan of for city riding, because in city riding you are going to have to find yourself going at a maintained speed, similar to what I'm doing right now. I have noticed that when I'm in road mode, sport mode, or a low gear in rain mode, the throttling on this motorcycle is extraordinarily twitchy. And you guys are going to hear throughout this video when we're in the city areas, you're going to hear the bike throttling and not throttling, throttling and not throttling, and I will be maintaining my throttle and not moving it. It's been really strange. Now, this is something that I'm not 100% sure if it's the throttle that Kawasaki put on the ZX-10 or if it's the tune that was put on this bike, but it is very on and off. There's no smooth progression to the power it gives. Maybe you guys can hear that. It is very on-off. It hits very hard, and that makes it extraordinarily difficult to ride this bike smoothly in the city, because in the city environment, you are going to be stopping, you're going to be going, you're going to be maintaining speed, and this bike, the throttling feels great as long as you're actively giving it throttle and not like keeping it at a steady pace. Jesus Christ. And that is road mode. It is not even sport mode. But yeah, as you guys could probably hear, the throttle is very like just twitchy, on off, and it throws you back because, I mean, it's a 1000cc Super Sport. It has 206 horsepower and 86 foot-pounds of torque, dude. There's a lot of power behind it, and it will get you in trouble so extraordinarily fast. God, dog, this thing revs fast. I will say one of the things that I absolutely love with this bike is the quick shifter. The only issue I really have with it is the power that it drops to shift the gears is pretty abrupt. I'll show you. It cuts power so much that it almost throws me forward a little bit. That being said, the feeling that it gives you going up and down the gears, especially going down, I really like that feeling a lot. And because this M4 exhaust is so loud, I have found myself shifting a lot. So I've gotten a lot of experience with the quick shifter here. Do you guys see the throttle? That's constant throttle for me. That. Do you see what I'm talking about? Sorry, I know I'm a little close to this car doing that, but I did want to let it happen just to show you guys what it does. If you're accelerating, it's not a problem. If you're on decel, it's not a problem. It's only when you're at low, constant speeds that something in the throttling is weird. And it very much could be a tune thing. I will put that out there. So guys that are out there that have ZX-10s, if you guys have them and you haven't tuned them, let me know if you guys have the same issue in the comments, because I would be super interested if it's just the tune on this bike, because honestly, that really ruins the rideability in the street for me. All right, we are coming up to my least favorite part of this video, and that is going to be the highway entrance. Obviously, it's a Super Sport. People love these for the highway, you know, doing dumb shit on the highway. So we're gonna find out how fast a 2022 Kawasaki ZX-10R will go from 40 miles an hour to 80 miles an hour, thanks to our buddies over at Law Tigers. They are your motorcycle lawyer friends. If anything happens to you on the road, I have used them personally and I can vouch for them. I am not excited about this. Let me be clear, 40 to 80 is gonna suck so bad on this. All right, sitting back, let's get the time up. On your mark, get set, go. God, that was so hard to keep the front wheel down. Jesus Christ. Woo! I don't know what the time is on that. I was too busy trying not to do a backflip. Guys, there's so much power that this bike has, it will rip your arms off if you don't hold on for dear life. Good gravy. All right, we're here on the highway, the proving ground for the Super Sport. We're in 6th gear, purring at 6,000, going 85. Absolutely insane. There is no conversation about power here. This bike has more power than anybody watching this video knows what to do with. I don't care how good of a rider you are, none of y'all can handle this power. Now, one of the cool things I'll give Kawasaki is that they gave it cruise control. So we can activate cruise control. And where is it? Set. Okay. A little weird there. That didn't happen as smoothly as I wanted it to. But it has cruise control. That's awesome. I appreciate that. The only other question I have is, can I rotate forward to disengage? I can, awesome. I will say, guys, on the highway, this taller windscreen is doing a fantastic job of funneling the wind over my helmet. So I do really appreciate that. I can scoot back in the seat and I can duck in. Doing a really big track on this would be absolutely phenomenal. This thing feels locked in. I've got slight vibrations in my fingers, slight vibrations in my feet, but overall this thing feels fantastic. The throttling and the engine braking is a little abrupt. It does have engine braking control, so you can go in there and turn that on to light if you want to. I don't know if I would do that. Kind of depends. Now that we're in a good gear, it's not too bad. Anyways, guys, I'm not going to want to tour on this bike because it's just incredibly uncomfortable. But if you want a very highway capable motorcycle, this one is definitely there. I just don't love the throttling. It even does the thing. Look at that. Even at constant throttle. That's so weird. What the heck? But look, on acceleration, it's fine. I'm gonna regret doing this. I'm already doing the super sport stuff. Awesome. All right, locked in on the big turn. Jesus Christ. That throttling is still there. What the hell? Dude, if I bought this bike, the first thing I would do is go get another tune. This tune, I feel like, is ruining this motorcycle. Interestingly, it is a heavier, 1000cc bike, but on that big turn, I could feel the weight of the bike, but the tires and that suspension just got me locked. Felt very stable, very happy with that, so nice job. Okay, we don't really have to touch on the power anymore, guys. I think you guys get it. Incredible amount of power. The only thing I don't like about the power is that throttling. It's insanely bad because of the tune. So yeah, I don't want to talk too much about engine braking because you can modify that in the settings, which is a cool option to have. You know what, here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna put this thing back in rain mode just to make it slightly more rideable. And I have no need for the power of sport mode. So, cool. Now we're back to, non-psychopathic abilities here. So, as far as suspension goes, we do have Showa big piston front forks, fully adjustable. I've got no problem with them. They felt great getting it leaned over there. There is a little bit of time delay in getting the bike pushed over from one side to the other. I don't know if that's a combination of the weight or the suspension, but I'm okay with that as long as when I get over I feel real stable, which I definitely did on this bike. Would be very interested in doing some sort of track day on this thing. Now, as far as the gearing, I think you guys saw when I was getting on the highway, I shifted gears only because I didn't want more power than I was being given because the front wheel was already lifting up. So very long gears, but I feel like that fits, right? With a inline-four, this thing revs to 14,000 redline. So you get to rev this thing all the way out. So if you're not used to riding an inline-four, it is gonna feel very weird, like you're just staying in a gear forever. But I feel like that's kind of part of the riding experience that you get on an inline-four, let alone a ZX-10. Now, talking about the brakes, we do have Brembo M50 mono blocks, I believe. Let's give them a tug. That suspension is set up so good. Super strong brakes, and the brakes are in line with all the other leader bikes. I think most of them are rocking M50 calipers right now, and they're solid stuff, man. I have no issue. I get a good feel when I pull on them, and the nice thing about the brakes is it doesn't just grab instantly. It's like got a good feeling up front, letting you know it's like, hey, we about to freaking stop. We already hit on the quick shifter, so we're not going to go into that, but that sound that it makes, dude, it sounds so freaking good. All right, guys, let's talk about the controls up here. For a bike that's in the $17,000 mark, I do feel like the controls are one of the weaker points on this bike. They have an okay click, but they don't have the highest quality look to them. Anyway, I would say the buttons on the ZX-10 are probably one of the primary negatives to me personally. I just feel like on a leader bike, I should be getting better buttons, and I feel like I've seen better quality stuff on bikes that cost a third of this bike. So not a huge fan there. Haven't had an issue with them working, so I'll say that. So next up, we'll talk about the levers, and I'll say this: the ASV levers feel fantastic. I love the shorty levers. They feel great. Can highly recommend you guys grabbing ASV levers here. So next up, we can talk about the Color TFT dash. And while it's not the most updated dash, and I do feel like it very much needs a gas gauge, there's no gas gauge. Obviously, you have a fuel indicator, and there's a 4.5 gallon gas tank. So when you get gas, you could reset that, and that way you could keep up with your gas. It would just be nice to have an MPG level to let you know when you're getting low on gas. So that kind of sucks. But one of the things I do really enjoy about this bike and the dash that I would probably get myself in a lot of trouble with if I owned is the fact that here on the bottom left, you have a throttle indicator letting you know how much throttle you're giving the bike. And then to the right of it, you can use one of those screens to have a lean indicator, which is really cool. And it'll track your max lean and all this kind of stuff. So little things like that are super cool if you're going to do something like a track day or something like that. And the other layout of this screen actually has a timer for like your track timer. So that's really cool too. So I do appreciate that Kawasaki has built in a few things that would make this thing super nice as a track bike, even though it would be a handful as a track bike. Obviously, we have the Olin steering damper. Like, there's a lot of things here that you can tell Kawasaki's paying attention and trying to build somebody something good for a track. Like a track, it'd be a track weapon, like a damn track bazooka. But it would be awesome. So here you guys can see the lean angle. I'll lean the bike over and you'll see it's like a little green bar. If we go back to the when I got off the highway, you guys will probably get to see that thing lean quite a bit. It'd be fun to do a track day on this and really get to watch that screen. Also, guys, didn't really touch on it, but this bike has the full suite of rider aids, minus wheelie control, which would have been nice to have when we were getting on the highway. But other than that, I think it's got the absolute full suite of ABS, traction control, cornering ABS, blah, 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 blah. You got it all in here. Now, up here, guys, we are going to turn off and we're going to do a little walk around of the bike. Now, I know y'all been looking at all that awesome camera car footage thanks to our sponsors. By the way, if you guys support any of the sponsors you see on the show, it massively supports the channel and the show, and we really appreciate them and also you guys for supporting them. So we're going to pull off up here. I'm going to do a little walk around of what I personally feel like is an absolutely gorgeous bike. Boom diddly boom. All right, guys, let's step off this beast and do a little walk around. 2022 Kawasaki Ninja ZX-10R. So this is one of the new body styles that Kawasaki is putting out, and to be honest, I'm kind of a fan of it. I really like the look. I've seen online some people don't like the red mixed in with the green, but I honestly feel like it is a fantastic look. I feel like there are much better exhausts to get, in my personal opinion. The one thing I'm not a huge fan of is the fact that this red is like cool and vibrant, and then you have this kind of show kind of different red. I want this red to match this red, so that kind of irks me, but I'm going to look past it for now. Overall, fantastic looking bike. They've already got the fender eliminator kit put on this bike, so you don't even have to do that. I love the tail. I just think it's an overall fantastic looking motorcycle. Really, really big fan of this, and what a bike for a track day, dude. Holy crap. That mean looking headlight. All right, guys, I'm going to grab my phone, and I'm going to do some content for our peeps over on Instagram and TikTok. If you guys are not following us over there, we're at Chaseontwowheels on TikTok, and We're at C2W Pics on Instagram. I am going to do some vertical video real quick if I can get my phone out of my jacket pocket, which I barely could. We're going to make some content for those guys, and I'll be right back. All right, guys, that's it for the vertical content. Now, we got a couple final things to do on this motorcycle. We got to do a steering stem lock test and find out how terrible the steering stem lock is, and then answer that age-old question, purchase or pass. Of all the steering stem locks, there's only a few bikes worse than naked bikes, and it's super sports. Does this bike just not want you to start the bike in first? Apparently so. All right, steering stem is locked. All 2 degrees of it. Let's see. Is this road long enough? Oh, dude, so bottom. So bottom. You know what? Let's just be nice. Let's say 10%. Look at all the pretty colors and a pretty colored motorcycle. We've got it all today, folks. All right. You've sat through a 30-minute video of me complaining about a super sport to find out if it's a purchase or pass. Dun, dun, dun. I think this one's gonna be surprising for you guys. And the answer that I'm giving is purchase with an asterisk. So I think this bike is awesome. I like the way it looks. I like the crazy green, and the amount of power in it is absolutely nuts. All of that being said, for a track bike. This bike for road use is a pass every single day of the week on every single planet, because the body position is terrible. Oh my God, it is not fun to ride this thing around town. I find myself getting irrationally angry riding this thing around because it's so uncomfortable. The throttle is so twitchy. It's like it's the opposite tool you want for the job you're trying to do. But all of that makes it a phenomenal track bike. And I think if I was going to buy a track bike, if I was doing track days a lot, this bike would be either at the top or near the top on my list. It feels precise, it feels fantastic. That being said, I've been on the road all day, so I haven't been on a track, but I could see this thing being amazing there. I cannot see a world where anybody should want this for city riding. I get all you dudes out there want to look cool on your little super sport and you want to get on Instagram and get a lot of clicks, right? I totally understand. But just know, you guys that are watching their content, they are miserably uncomfortable on a bike that they can barely control. That is what you're watching on Instagram. You see it and you look at it, it's like, oh, it looks so cool. But it's miserable riding these things. You can have such a better time going just as fast on motorcycles that don't cost as much. It's hilarious. But if looks are that important to you, then by all means, make the sacrifice. This is probably where I should put some sort of like disclaimer. All the thoughts and opinions in this video are literally just that, the thoughts and opinions of one person, and you should not make your purchasing decision based on only one person online. So keep all that in mind, and don't blame me if you got your feelings hurt. All right, guys, wrapping this up. Fantastic motorcycle, terrible for road riding. All I'm saying, that's my boil the entire first ride down. If you guys are looking for a track bike and you love green, this thing is going to be fantastic. Anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap it up here. Big shout out to WOW Motorcycles for loaning us the motorcycle to do a first ride on. If it wasn't for WOW, we would not be on this motorcycle right now. So go give those guys some love in the comments down below. We'll have a link to them with a bike provided by. And hey, the bike might be available if you check it out, if you're in the market. So guys, let me know in the comments down below after you like the video, of course, and let me know why in the world you would buy a Kawasaki ZX-10R for street riding. Is there something I missed that I don't know about? Let me know in the comments down below. And of course, if you got to the end of the video, outro crew, I'd love you guys a little bit longer. I'm Chase on Two Wheels, guys. I'll see you on the next one. You guys go out there and ride safe. Later.